Lady Gaga maybe had the critically most acclaimed Coachella headlining performance since forever. Not only did she deliver the hits, but high artistry and a quality in production that will change our look and performances at Coachella and maybe in general. Stephanie Germanotta, better known as Lady Gaga, delivered pure art at Coachella. It was a commentary on the complexities of fame and celebrity life. It's a self-reflection on the dichotomy of Gaga's personality. It's Gaga's point of view after she achieved everything she wanted. The duality of her life of seeking fame and escaping fame. Hi everyone, my name is Freud, and for those who don't know me, I'm a self-proclaimed Gaga historian. I do a lot of analysis videos for pop culture, but Gaga especially. So take a seat and let's take a deep dive into all the Easter eggs and analyze Lady Gaga's 2025 Coachella set. Before we dive right into the video, a special shout out to all my newest Patreon members: Chris, Michael, Nicholas, Jordy, Brian, Abel, Eric, Madeline, Majalis, Benji, Lebim, Sergio, and Lucas. Thank you so much for your support. Without you, I would not be able to do these videos. So let's get right into Seminar 1 of the Mother Monster lore. Gaga-Chella explained. To understand the Gaga-Chella set, we have to understand that there are two main concepts Gaga was following in the show. The first one is the alter egos Mistress Mayhem and Virgin Gaga, and the second concept are the Gothic dreams. So first question, first concept, who is Mayhem and who is Virgin Gaga? To understand the concept of the show that is titled The Art of Personal Chaos, Mistress Mayhem is actually a character or an alter ego that Gaga created during her album cycle of Mayhem. This is something that Gaga has done a lot in the past. For example, we have Juchi, the mermaid, in the Born This Way era. We have Joe Calderone during the Born This Way era, which kind of represented all her ex-lovers. And of course, during art pop, Gaga had the alter ego, the goddess of love. So Gaga has always done alter egos, and it is kind of her way of expressing herself to simplify these concepts she has in mind. So Mayhem Mistress and Virgin Gaga are exactly the same thing. It's a simplification of complex thoughts that Gaga has and wants to put into her performance and into her artistry of being Lady Gaga. We also know Mistress Mayhem before the Coachella set. We have seen these two personas before in the music video of Disease and Abracadabra. They are fighting throughout both videos, similar but also very different. So let me explain what I mean by that. In the Disease music video, Virgin Gaga, or the white-dressed Gaga, is kind of chased by Mistress Mayhem in the suburban neighborhood. Mistress Mayhem is kind of like the antagonist of all these horror movies from the 80s, such as Jason from Halloween, or Ghostface from Scream, or Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. I go into detail in my Disease Explained video if you are interested in the meaning of disease, but for now it's just important for you to know that Mistress Mayhem is kind of hunting down Lady Gaga in this white dress, and there are these two sides of Gaga fighting each other. We have the same concept in the Abracadabra music video. Let's quickly dive into that as well to get a better understanding what the Coachella set is about. So Gaga tells us in an interview that Mistress Mayhem is the owner of the club that we see in the music video, and the club is the club of Gaga's soul. You either have to dance or you die. So while the Disease music video is about defeat, Abracadabra is about resilience. Gaga mentioned that, as in the song, the lady in red says a poem. It's a spell asking Gaga to choose death or love. Why I come up with this name Virgin Gaga is actually because of the behind-the-scenes video of Abracadabra, where one of the dancers calls this white-dressed Gaga Virgin Gaga, and it totally fits to the character that this white Gaga represents, because she's very pure and peaceful and totally different than this aggressive, darker side that Mistress Mayhem kind of represents. Mistress Mayhem means actually many things. Let's take a look at the Manifesto of Mayhem that starts the show to get a better understanding of what Mayhem actually is. This is the Manifesto of Mayhem. The mistress stands before me, eyes wide and full of wrath, her cane held in her right hand, on her left foot a cast. Beware, she says, the chaos in your heart will never cease, until you find another way to harness what you seek. Her haunting tone, her restless speech, the music of her mouth, her screeching nails and inner life are like a storm, they're loud. At once in all her glory then, we both begin to dance. My head rolls back, my chest explodes, my hand begins to cramp. To not know any peace is the great nightmare for us all, to wake and feel unsettled in a house that has no walls. So I must sing and build the walls to cradle my own space, and my own sound will grow the fortress of a home erased. And her and I will find a way to live as dueling twins, but I will know if in the end Mistress of Mayhem wins. So what can we take from this manifesto? I think it's pretty clear that this is an inner conflict happening inside of Gaga. So Mistress Mayhem, the red dressed Gaga and the white dressed Gaga are actually fighting one another. This is something that she is really struggling with. To not know any peace is the great nightmare for us all. To wake and feel unsettled in a house that has no walls. So Gaga's talking about herself like it's a house without no walls. Like she doesn't feel comfortable in her own skin. She doesn't feel comfortable with these two characters fighting one another. But there's one way that she can channel the best out of it, and that is by creating art. So I must sing and build the walls to cradle my own space, and my own sound will grow the fortress of a home erased. So Gaga is explaining actually why she's doing the show, because this inner conflict that she has, she wants to put this on stage to make something positive out of the negative that's happening to her, which I find very interesting and inspiring. What else can we take from the manifesto? Besides that Mistress Mayhem is like the counterpart of Gaga, it's, for me personally, it's a personification of all the bad things that happened. Let's take the line, for example, where she's talking about that she's holding the cane in the right hand. This is, for me, a direct reference to the labral tear of the right hip that Gaga experienced in 2012 following her Born This Way ball tour. For those of you who don't know, Gaga had to undergo surgery because what actually happened is that she broke her hip from all this touring. She had like 100+ dates to perform, and she had to cancel the tour because she was not able to finish the shows. The effect that this has was that she had to undergo month-long rest and had to be driven around in a wheelchair. So for me, this cane in the right hand represents this labral tear of the right hip. Maybe Mistress Mayhem is like a personification of everything bad that happened to Gaga. It reflects Gaga's inner chaos, maybe even her inner trauma. I mean, just think about being that famous as Lady Gaga is. It's not that easy. Gaga's very vocal about that she's struggling with fame, that she has depression, and I think Mistress Mayhem represents the fight she has with her darkness inside her and her mental struggles. So now let's get back to the Coachella set and let me explain what the Mistress Gaga and Virgin Gaga mean throughout the acts. We now know that Mistress Mayhem and Virgin Gaga are in this battle between these two halves that Gaga has, the chaotic side, the red side, and the peaceful side, the white side. So summarized at the start of the Coachella show, there's a clear distinction. Good Gaga fights against bad Gaga fights against good Gaga. Throughout the evening, it's evolving to both parts coexisting. So the innocent and the chaotic half of her kind of become one. Let me explain you what I mean by that by going through the different acts. So in Act 1, it begins with the Mayhem persona. It depicts the fire that fuels Gaga's artistry and wish to become an artist. And Act 2 is represented by her softer, more vulnerable side, Virgin Gaga in the white dress, while Mayhem is the more ruthless and more aggressive side of her. So Act 1 is the point of view of Mistress Mayhem, Act 2 is the point of view of White Gaga. Act 3 and Act 4 are a bit more blurry. So Act 3, at first view, it could be Bright Gaga because she has the blonde hair and she has some songs that are more uplifting, but there are also darker aspects within her, the headpiece, the keyboard. She has like this good and bad Gaga inside her already. And in Act 4, it's also visible that Gaga and Mayhem coexist rather than fight each other. And they are represented by these white and red colors that we see throughout the wholeness of Act 4. And the conclusion of this fight between these two personas actually ends with the finale where Gaga performs Bad Romance, because Gaga has like this white outfit that also has these red wounds that are standing for the red color of Mayhem, so it represents Mayhem as still a part of her. But she's able to control it now and reclaim the Mayhem to create art. And that is the art of personal chaos. So now that we kind of understand this concept and this meaning, let's get into the Gothic dreams. Gaga herself has actually 2 contradictory explanations for her Gothic dream. So first up, she says that her Gothic dreams were inspirations for her newest album Mayhem, and each song is a way for Gaga to deal with herself and her stardom. So she categorized each theme and song into a specific Gothic dream. A concept she used for past projects, for example as the Fame Monster, as every song represented a fear and monster in her life as well. So this is the first explanation. And the second one is even more interesting because of the Coachella show. The structure of the show and the act titles explain the metaphor for a Gothic dream as a reflection of her coping with the last 20 years of fame. In Act 2, that is titled She Fell into a Gothic Dream, the setlist includes songs that comment on the downsides and difficulties of fame, like Perfect Celebrity, Paparazzi, and The Beast. She also mentions in a monologue in this act on Weekend 1, sometimes it feels like I went into a dream. When I was 20 years old, I've been in a dream ever since then, and I didn't know if I wanted to wake up. So keeping this monologue and setlist in mind, the Gothic dreams not only represent the songs of Mayhem, but are a metaphor for her whole career and stardom she experienced, which might have caused the mayhem in her life. The title of Act 3, The Beautiful Nightmare That Knows Her Name, is a continuation of Act 2. The beautiful nightmare that knows her name is actually being famous. At the end of Act 3, Mayhem wants to wake her up from this Gothic dream. In the backdrop of the interlude into Act 4, Mayhem's claws destroy the stage that Gaga has created, suggesting to wake her up from the dream. Act 4 of Gaga's Coachella set actually takes an interesting turn. It's the only performance outfit which is not rooted or referencing like this Gothic fashion style. I was very confused at the beginning, but now I understand why she did it. Her military-inspired harness outfit with these pointy shoulders is a modern and harsh Lady Gaga. It's very mirroring the storytelling of Mayhem we just discussed, that these both characters fuse together into the final Lady Gaga persona that we know. And it also suggests that Gaga has finally woken up from a Gothic dream, putting her in this non-goth inspired look. So the Gothic dream that separated white Lady Gaga from Mayhem Gaga clashes the reality where they both become one, because they always have been. The metaphor of a Gothic dream for Gaga to explain her inner conflict she has within herself with these 2 personas is now not visible to the viewer anymore. And I found this really an interesting concept that Gaga uses. It's an interesting concept that Gaga uses for herself, because the finale act is exactly that. It's a hybrid between these modern and Gothic fashion looks, and now she owns this Gothic dream aesthetic to create new art, and it's very meta because she's doing it at the beginning of the show, but now she's explaining us at the end of the show why she's doing it. And last but not least, this imagery of falling into a Gothic dream, I immediately thought about Alice in Wonderland, because Alice's character in a white dress falling into this rabbit hole and fighting against the Queen of Hearts, which is this royal figure, this dark, scary woman in this red dress, very similar to Mistress Mayhem, to be honest. And it's not the first time that Gaga references Alice in Wonderland. If you take a look back at Chromatica, her album prior to Mayhem, Gaga had this song called Alice, where she is talking about she's looking for Wonderland. She's not happy at the place she is right now. So there are even more Alice in Wonderland references throughout the Coachella set, but I will elaborate on that later. One question that I also had in mind that I wanted to answer with this video is, why is it an opera in the desert? The staging and the historic references of the show are explaining that. The whole show, the costumes, and the stage are aesthetically framed into the 15th to 18th century of Europe. From the Mary Tudor-inspired opening look with these opera curtain skirts onto the knight armor and helmet till the angel-esque Frankenstein finale look, and even the plague doctor nurses, Gaga fuses this horror imagery with historical references to create her new aesthetic. Gaga even mentions within her show at Coachella that she built an opera in the desert. And one opera house in particular gets referenced, which is Palais Garnier. You might ask why I know that she is referencing this opera in particular. If you take a look at the architecture, the Corinthian pillars in the stage are reminiscent of the facade of Palais Garnier. And second point is that in the Abracadabra song, Gaga sings Phantom of the Dance Floor, which is a clear reference to Phantom of the Opera, which plays in Palais Garnier, the opera in Paris. So it's pretty clear that she's referencing this opera in particular for me, but in general, she's just referencing operas, because the stage also incorporates architectural elements resembling balconies inside opera and theater houses. It's an interesting concept if you think about it, because Gaga's switching the roles of the performer and the spectator. In Act 2, she's becoming the spectator, talking to the crowd and observing the fans. What I also would like to talk about while talking about the staging is the sculpture on top of the stage. I was intrigued what this is representing. Is this like a Greek god? Is this like some mythology that goes over our heads that we don't understand? And I wanted to dive into it. So I put on my little monster, little detective hat, and I asked the artist himself, Dan Engel Art. I asked him on TikTok under his video what sculpture this actually represents, and he said it was inspired by Hermes. So Hermes is a Greek god. He's known as the messenger of the Olympian gods, and he's bridging the gap between mortal and divine. He's also associated as conductor of the dead, guiding the souls to the underworld. So he's the god of travel, innovation, and trickery. Whether there isn't a specific meaning to the show, it fits to the overall theme, because it's not uncommon for opera houses to reference Greek mythology, not only in their plays, but also in their architecture. And yeah, of course, the live orchestra is like the most obvious reference to the opera and theater play that Gaga is inspired by for this whole aesthetic. Okay, so I think now we have a better picture of like the whole concept of what this show actually means. So let's get right into the details, like the hidden meanings and the Easter eggs throughout the show. Let's start with Act 1 of Velvet and Vice. So Act 1 starts with Mistress Mayhem. She's the chaos in Gaga, that craze for artistic expression that resulted Stephanie Germanotta to become famous and to become Lady Gaga. Act 1 therefore is the artistic drive Gaga had to become famous, personified by Mistress Mayhem. We start with an intro and Bloody Mary, and although the song's title references more so the biblical figure Mary Magdalene, the phrasing Bloody Mary is mostly associated with the English Queen Mary Tudor, and she got her name from sentencing over 280 religious dissenters to burn at stake. Lovely lady, it seems. But to be honest, it's very fitting for the characterization of Mistress Mayhem and the song itself. It's very scary how she's like bigger than everyone else in the crowd and watching over everybody. And she might even reference herself. She was performing at the Royal Variety Performance in 2009, as she performed for Queen Elizabeth II in a red latex Victorian-style puff sleeve gown. And there's also a fashion reference. The outfit was surely inspired by Thierry Mugler's design in 1985 for Lady Macbeth. The skirt even represents an opera curtain, again, opera reference, and it reveals into a huge cage, which leads us back to our medieval European point of view. It was an instrument of punishment and public display. So in my interpretation, it reveals Gaga's inner demons. All these personas and darkness she has trapped within her are now on public display. And another really interesting Easter egg that I kind of figured out as I watched the performance is that the female dancers inside the cage represent witches. The outfits that came associated with witchcraft are clothes of the lower class women of the earlier modern period, because commonly women from this class were accused of witchery. So our today's belief of how witches looked is based on the lower class women clothes of the earlier modern period because of that. And Gaga knows that, and Gaga's team used that, and I thought it's just very fitting to the whole aesthetic. Just the song itself, it introduces Mistress Mayhem perfectly, and it fits into this grand female entity, which is very powerful and scary and just the best opening that you can imagine to portray this character. The next song is Abracadabra. We don't have that much to read into it. It's a continuation of this story. Shortly before Abracadabra, Gaga sings in operatic vocals what seems to be "Make Me Come Alive, This Is My House Tonight, Opera, Opera." For those of you who didn't get the opera reference yet. And of course, Gaga is referencing herself. She's referencing the Abracadabra music video with the line "Dance or Die," the cane choreo, the dancers that lift Gaga into the air. The song itself is a magic spell that fits into this grand character that Gaga presents to us. And we have a very smooth transition into Judas. She's referencing her old Judas choreo. She's having new Judas choreo. I think the most interesting part of this performance was that she was put in the cage again at the end of the performance by man. And it is kind of mirroring the lyrics and storytelling in Judas, as Gaga is in love with her male lover that betrays her at the end. So keep that in mind as we go into Scheiße. This performance is genius. It's full of many, many Easter eggs and meanings. Let's quickly summarize what the song Scheiße is actually about. It's about female empowerment, and it's kind of an anthem for Gaga about the strength of women in a man-dominated world. She's singing Volksgerman rather than real German, because men often don't understand her as a strong female. And this social construct is bullshit to her, and the German word for bullshit is Scheiße. So yeah, that's a quick summary of what the song means. It makes total sense if you keep in mind that the female dancers now have taken off the witchy outfits to more subtle red dresses. The women of medieval Europe that have been suppressed and accused by men of witchery forever are now writing with quill pens, which is, for me, metaphorically speaking, like all these oppressed women are now telling their story and are able to tell their story, and Gaga is writing her own story. She's writing the lyrics of Scheiße, of female empowerment. I just think this is so clever, and what is even smarter is that there are references to art and religion. The whole staging for Scheiße represents at one point the Last Supper. This is the famous painting by Leonardo da Vinci's depiction of Jesus and his 12 apostles. But this time, they are all female. It's just Gaga creating her own world in which females are represented. And again, it's referencing Judas because Judas betrayed Jesus, and that was the song that just played before. So it all makes kind of sense. And at the end of the performance of Scheiße, Gaga is writing with a quill pen on a parchment roll. And for me, the most obvious imagery I had in mind was that she's signing her soul to the devil. I think a lot of people thought about that, but for me, this could be her signing her contract to be an artist, not with the devil, but with music labels at the time. And maybe doing that was kind of signing her soul to the devil. All these downsides that Gaga kind of had with fame, at the end, maybe she asked herself, should I have ever done this? Or should I have not made this contract? Because Gaga was a songwriter before she was an own artist. She has written for the Pussycat Dolls before she was famous. Besides the obvious female empowerment storyline, I think it kind of makes sense that Gaga maybe imagines what her life would be like if she would be a songwriter rather than an artist herself. The next song is Garden of Eden from her newest album. The song is about the temptation of being in the club and all the bad decisions you're seduced into making. It's an obvious reference to the Garden of Eden from the Bible, as Eve gets seduced by the serpent to eat the forbidden fruit and later on seduces Adam to do so. It leads into their damnation from Eden. So Gaga is playing into this storyline of this oppression of women Gaga and many in Western society grew up with, and this is a storyline that is rooted within the Bible, within the Christian beliefs. If you take a look at the stage, the green light for me represents Garden of Eden. She's crawling on the floor as there's the guitar player. So for me, Gaga is kind of the serpent seducing Adam, and the guitar could even be this forbidden fruit. Gaga is leaving the main stage, kind of leaving Garden of Eden, and plays the guitar herself. Maybe I'm delusional, but this is what I read into it. And for the hardcore fans, the little monsters, some of you may notice that in the outro of Garden of Eden, during the dance break, you can hear sound bites of Dance in the Dark from the Fame monster. So the next song on the set list is Poker Face. And again, maybe some little monsters noticed that the scream in the beginning is very similar to the heavy metal lover love scream that you can hear throughout the song. Of course, Gaga is referencing herself again. At the VMAs 2009, Gaga has worn an outfit very similar to the one that the white Gaga is wearing. In the Bad Romance music video, there's an outfit also very similar to the one that Gaga is wearing. And she's referencing Alice in Wonderland with this chess game, chess field, the Queen of Hearts that is battling Alice. And even at the end, the phrasing of off with her head, which can be heard later on throughout the transition to Act 2, it's a clear reference to Alice in Wonderland. This is a phrase that the Queen of Hearts is heard saying very often. And she's also referencing fashion. One of the biggest admirers fashion-wise of Gaga was Alexander McQueen. They were really close, and he made a show in spring 2005 called It's Only a Game. And this kind of fashion catwalk runway is very, very similar to the staging that Gaga has for Poker Face. Oh yeah, there's something else that I would like to talk about. This is a bit more tea. There's a subtle hint at some inside drama in Gaga's team. Lady Gaga's longtime choreographer Richie Jackson allegedly created an unsafe workplace. There are like 10 former dancers that spoke out on the issue in 2022. And it seems like she has fired Richie Jackson, but she has not spoken openly about what happened. Back to the Poker Face performance, there is one of the chessmen that is doing like quick, hectic dance moves that are very similar, and Richie Jackson, the choreographer, is kind of known for. And this chessman actually gets knocked out by Gaga, which could be a subtle hint towards him because he tried to come for her. Let's not get into this. This is a whole other story. Last but not least, what I would like to mention, there's a clear reference for me. Gaga is referencing the Abracadabra music video because there's a dance battle happening between the white and the red side. In the Abracadabra music video, we see that Gaga wins, but this time it changes because White Gaga dies and Mistress of Mayhem wins. I just thought this is a cool Easter egg and a cool nod to kind of make like this parallel universe. What could the club of Gaga's soul be like if Mayhem wins at the end? So Act 2 is called And She Fell Into a Gothic Dream. For Act 2, we follow now Virgin Gaga. It's Gaga's more vulnerable self. She's more fragile and she has more girl-like attributes. Again, she was metaphorically killed by Mistress Mayhem, so the peaceful side of Gaga took a toll by her artistic side through dealing with fame and its negative side effects. So this act starts at rock bottom but becomes more hopeful, and for me it's about Gaga finding strength through her little monsters. Let me explain you what I mean by that by diving right into Perfect Celebrity. Historic references for Perfect Celebrity, the makeup, the hair, and the dress are reminiscent of old Hollywood glamour and old Hollywood glamour actresses. I think about Marilyn Monroe, Veronica Lake, Jean Harlow, or Mae West, and it fits into this song about stardom. It's actually a mockery of stardom. Perfect Celebrity, if you read into the lyrics of the song, it's a very critical take on fame, and it reflects even on why Gaga wanted to be famous. The whole staging of the song is like the illustration of Hollywood's a ghost town, the line out of the song. It's the visual concept of the song's performance, to be honest, and she's performing it in a graveyard between skeletons, so this makes very clear what Gaga thinks about Hollywood. There's this recurring theme of celebrities dying of fame. She also used in a 2009 VMA performance of Paparazzi. She sings at the beginning, amidst all of these flashing lights, I pray the fame won't take my life. So is she lying next to all the celebrities that died by the artistic drive and couldn't deal with the pressures of fame? I think about Marilyn Monroe, Judy Garland, or Amy Winehouse as all these great women that we have lost due to the pressure of fame. Seeing Gaga next to all these skeletons makes me think that we maybe don't even know how close we were to losing Gaga as a female artist as well. Also important to mention is that Gaga is referencing herself again. Gaga laying in the graveyard with a skeleton. It kind of resembles Gaga falling to death during the Paparazzi music video. There's this reference of the Bad Romance music video as Gaga is laying next to a skeleton in bed at the end of the video. It's pretty cool when Gaga does all these Easter eggs. She does a lot of them during the show. And yes, there's even a second meaning as to what these skeletons could actually represent besides celebrities. Let's get into that by talking about disease. As the song starts, the dancers with these skull masks portraying these skeletons, they come alive. And for me, the dancers represent little monsters. Because fame did not only have all these negative aspects to Gaga's life, but she got a community that understood her. It's a community that actually came to life and into existence because of her advocacy. And I'm talking about all these minorities that she spoke up and raised awareness for. Queer people, people of color, women, people with mental health problems, survivors of sexual assault. Just like these skeletons from the graves, little monsters rose up. They were represented now. They were seen because of Gaga, because she put equal rights in the forefront. During the performance, the numbers of dancers increases. It represents her fellowship growing bigger and bigger. The dancers in the background, they represent like a dark entity behind her. In some moments, even a spider-like creature or monster that backs and supports her. And although the monsters help her with her personal struggles, at the end of Disease, the performance, we can see the white-dressed Gaga has to face her inner darkness and Mistress Mayhem on her own. And that is what Act 2 is about. It's the aspects of fame told by Virgin Gaga, the peaceful side of her, in a more emotional and more vulnerable way. The last things that I would like to say to the Disease performance, and then we go on because I'm talking about this way too much, but I love this performance so much. The moon is visible and it awakes the dancers, like Michael Jackson's Thriller music video, The Undead Come Alive, and of course she's referencing herself again. The Disease music video, the first references is Gaga waking up after Mistress Mayhem tried to kill her. In the music video she was run over by a car, and the second reference is that Gaga is kneeling before Mistress Mayhem in the live performance as well as in the music video. At the end, this conflict of their coexistence, it ends in both of them seemingly being dead, and I think it just shows this big conflict that Gaga has with these two characters and that she doesn't know how to deal with it. We will go on now to Paparazzi, and the dancers, or little monsters, help Gaga to put on an armor and crutches to learn to walk again and to get back up. And for me, this represents her coming back to life. It has the imagery of being a wounded soldier or a knight with armor that learns to walk again. It fits into this Gothic dream aesthetic. She's walking against like all these obstacles, which is what this win for me represents, these obstacles that come with fame. She's walking against them and she's facing them, and she comes out healthy at the other side. That's what I get from this performance. And this is visually so beautiful. I think this is one of Gaga's best performances she has ever done. The most obvious references are, it's a direct visual homage to the Mugler look from the Paparazzi music video. The fashion reference is also, again, Alexander McQueen from the Fall Show 2003. He has like this runway where there is this fabric and the wind machine included that is very similar to what Gaga just did. And at the end of the performance, after she has sung the song, she's walking backstage and the dancers help her to get off her armor, and she gets on the balcony as the camera follows the dancers back to the stage. And there is so much meaning behind it. I think you know that just from me talking about this, you can hear that I love Act 2. It's the best part of the show. For me, she is saying it's time for her to go and live and be more private. While the dancers, like the little monsters in this graveyard, they are waiting for her appearance. They're making a hand sign similar to the little monster paw. Gaga is saying she has found a way to live a more healthier life with fame, being more distant than before. For me, this is Gaga saying she's ready to have a family, live with Michael, her fiancé, and being Lady Gaga from afar. She's still seeing her fans, she still will be this Gaga persona, but she also will take care of herself. And I think this is a beautiful way of telling us that in a very subtle way. And as I mentioned before, it's interesting because she's switching this spectator performer kind of roles. She's now observing the crowd and the monsters from the balcony before she speaks to them. And now comes one of my favorite interpretations and one of my favorite parts of the show. It's the monologue. I will quote the monologue from the weekend one. I love you so much. I wanted to make a romantic gesture to you this year in these times of mayhem. I decided to build you an opera house in the desert. For all the love and all the joy and all the strength you've given me my whole life. Sometimes it feels like I went into a dream when I was like 20 years old. I've been in a dream ever since then, and I don't know if I wanted to wake up, because what if you weren't there? Coachella. I've been looking for someone I love in the audience. Alejandro, is that you? Let me quickly take this moment and breathe for a moment. This monologue is actually genius, and I will tell you why it's genius. This is a clear reference to William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. For those of you who don't know, the balcony scene is like become an iconic symbol of the story of Romeo and Juliet, and one of the most iconic scenes of romantic literature. It fits again in the European aesthetic. It fits again into what Gaga wants to say with this monologue. She's doing a romantic gesture. She's looking for someone she loves, but this time it's not Romeo, it's Alejandro she's looking for. All these Easter eggs and this bond she has with these little monsters, they come out in this. The times of mayhem she's talking about, she references clearly the political climate in America. So all these groups that Gaga supports and has a voice for, all these marginalized groups, they don't have a great time right now with this government happening in America. So Times of Mayhem is the perfect, subtle way of saying she is here for all of these groups. And of course, again, she's referencing the Gothic dreams. And for me, the best part is Gaga talking about Alejandro instead of Romeo. And going into the song Alejandro. Just as in the play of Romeo and Juliet, Juliet confesses her love to Romeo, while Gaga confesses her love to Alejandro. Alejandro, at this point, for me, it references all her gay fans, because Alejandro is like the song that Gaga performs on all her concerts and addressing her gay audience. Why, you might ask? Thematically, the song is about a lover of Gaga that represents the stereotypical Latino or Italo macho, but the music video is about the unequal treatment of the church and the military towards gay men at the time. So it was back in the day highly criticized by the church, but it became an anthem for the gays. Yeah, so this is what Gaga's singing about. When she's looking for Alejandro, she's looking for the gay fans, and she actually made a love letter for this community. So the next song that Gaga performs is The Beast. As The Beast starts, Gaga asks what's happening, followed by Mayhem, is that you, before singing The Beast, meaning her artistic, chaotic side comes back. The Beast itself is a song from her newest album, Mayhem. It's a song about Gaga becoming a werewolf, and it's a metaphor for Gaga becoming the superstar persona that is bigger than herself and her private life, and she's transforming into it, sometimes even if she doesn't want to. In the pre-LG7 era, I had a lot of theories that the whole album Mayhem, to this point we just knew it as LG7, I thought that the whole album concept would be about moon phases and the moon in general. I was not right with the album concept, but I was right that at least one song is about the moon itself. The female dancers have witchy outfits again, which fit into the folklore element. The most iconic Easter egg maybe of the whole show is that the line 11:59 was performed at the exact moment clock ticked on 11:59. This is crazy. Okay, let's get into Act 3, which is called The Beautiful Nightmare That Knows Her Name. Act 3 is summarized, it's about Gaga as the werewolf, the superstar she has now transformed into, and she's enjoying herself in the dream playing with monsters. The first song that we hear is Killer, featuring Gesaffelstein. Gaga is literally referencing this werewolf by wearing it on this bodysuit. It's a blue bodysuit, so I thought it might be a reference to her iconic Poker Face music video bodysuit, but maybe I'm reaching. There's also this little Easter egg of her wearing these iconic Savannah vinyl corset boots she has worn since the beginning of her career. Like all the OG little monsters, like the veteran monsters, will know what I talk about when I show them these boots and these pictures. And this was just a cute throwback. And yeah, Gaga is in her werewolf killer mode, so the song Killer seems fitting. The background dancers for me are kind of representing these demon-like creatures with this tentacle horn-like features on their head. I don't have another explanation for this, to be honest, besides that it's very art pop coded and it's very hyper pop. Another Gaga reference is the Gaga is playing the drums, which she has done in the Swine performance from the iTunes Festival in London in 2013 and on other occasions before, but this was the one that particularly stood out to me that she might be referencing. The last Easter egg that I got from this performance is that on this circular screen, we can see the Zoetrope vinyl that Gaga sold on her online shop. For those of you who don't know, Zoetrope is like this preform animation circular boxes that produce the illusion of motion. And it's again fitting to this European culture as it was developed in the 19th century. Let's get to Zombie Boy. Gaga premieres the Zombie Boy look, which is a homage to the 18th century military looks, but also mixed with Gothic dress. It looks amazing, to be honest. The embellishments on Gaga's dress on the front are representing these rib cages, and on the back she has the spine. She's dancing with these skeletons as well as her female dancers. The skeleton theme seems very fitting as well because it's like an homage to her Alan von Antwerp photo shoot, which some of you might know as Gaga was posing with a skeleton there. And another interesting thing that you might not know is that the song itself is a homage and a tribute to the late model Rick Janest, that is also known as Zombie Boy, who was featured in Gaga's music video for Born This Way. Gaga was very inspired by his appearance, and so she had all these fake face tattoos similar to his and featured him in the music video. The next song is Die With A Smile, and for the Die With A Smile performance, Gaga puts on a kind of a black horn headpiece made of paper feathers. There are so many possible references for this headpiece alone. So the first idea I had in mind is that this is Gaga referencing her zodiac sign because she's an Aries. So am I, actually. The second possible representation is that this is a jester, which was an entertainer in the early European time period, referring to Gaga's career through her Gothic point of view. And it could also be referencing her Harlequin album and her feature for Joker Folie à Deux. And the third one, to follow the narrative of signing the contract with the devil. These horns are very similar to Baphomet, which is a figure known across various occult, satanic, and Western esoteric traditions as a demon, but also as a creature of balance of opposition, which I found really interesting because balance of opposition is exactly what this Mayhem Virgin Gaga storyline is also going for. So these are my kind of interpretations what this headpiece alone could mean. Let's check out the keyboard with the skull and the spines. It totally fits into the song's theme, Die With A Smile, which is like the contrast of death and happiness in one. It's very interesting to see Gaga in these bright colors and have all these contradictions, fashion pieces, and keyboard design that fit into the song as well. If you're interested in the analysis of Die With A Smile, the song and the music video, check out my video I made for that because it's really interesting and it's not very known to most of the people what the song is actually about, what the music video is actually about as well. So if you're interested in that, check that out, but I will not go into further detail right now. The next song is actually How Bad Do You Want Me on the set list. I think there's not very much that I can say about it, besides that there were rainbow color lighted stage. It was very wholesome, it was very bubblegum pop. The colors were not to the LGBTQA+ community, but besides that, there's not very much that I could read into it. Let's get into the Tell Mayhem Wake Her Up part, which is like the interlude into Act 4. As How Bad Do You Want Me, the song ends, we can see 4 women on the balcony that observe Gaga. The lightning on their faces as well as the red light are suggesting something evil and unsettling is happening, and they are actually a bridge into mayhem because of the red color that is introducing Mayhem's reappearance. And they whisper things to one another as Gaga seems scared and runs away. So what I could hear from it, and it was very hard to understand because it was not very clear on the audio, but what I heard from it is that the women say to one another, I think she's enjoying the dream. The mistress won't like that. No, we have to get her. Don't tell her. I think we should just blah, 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 and then I don't understand what they say before they are chanting Tell Mayhem. So this could actually mean many things. Most likely, it refers to Gaga's depression. I think this just represents that Gaga, in her most uplifting and happy moments, she has to deal with this darkness and this chaos that can reappear at every moment and haunting her again. These women are a representation of exactly that, talking and whispering about her, like all these voices in her head. It's also possible that this is like a homage to Queen, which Gaga is a huge fan of and was inspired by in many projects. So the music video of Bohemian Rhapsody has also this group can be seen singing in a similar scene and light characterizing the choir and the opera parts about the devil. To reference Gaga, this is Gaga now awakening from the Gothic dream. She's falling out of fame and the duality of white and red Gaga is now gone. In the next scene we can see Mayhem in red and 2 black dressed dancers are searching for Gaga. Mayhem screams, "Wake her up, you come to me," and she's looking for her, she wants to find her. On the screens on the stage you can see a reflection of that. The claws of Mayhem destroy the opera house, reinforcing the idea of forcing Gaga to wake up and destroy what White Gaga has built in her Gothic dream, an opera in the desert. So In Act 4, Gaga awakes from the dream. The imaginary fight from the Gothic dream between Mistress Mayhem and Virgin Gaga is gone. Gaga exists through her artistry, combining both parts. The different songs stand for different pillars of her career. We have Shadow of a Man. It's about her being a female artist in the music industry. We have Born This Way, that is about what she believes in and stands for, equality and queer rights. We have Shallow, that showcases her love for acting. And we have Vanish Into You, that is a love letter to her fans. Let's first start with Shadow of a Man. As the song starts, Gaga even says, "I don't want to wake up. I don't ever want to wake up from this dream." She's wearing a military avant-garde outfit, completely different than the Gothic outfits, because she's awake now. There are a lot of references to Michael Jackson. I mean, even sonically, the song is very much Michael Jackson coded. But the dance moves, the all-male dancers have black suits and black leather gloves, which are very reminiscent of Michael Jackson. The song and the whole performance is very Michael Jackson coded, which makes sense because Michael Jackson, before he passed away, was a huge fan of Gaga, and he also offered to perform with her when she wasn't even that big. And Gaga always admired his artistry, so it makes sense that she's kind of paying homage to him. It's also very interesting that she started with all male dancers, like dancing in the shadow of man, you know? And last but not least, what I can say about the song is that you can see that the stage in the background is lit red, while the lights itself are white. Again, playing with red and white theme, mayhem, Gaga, it's very obvious throughout the whole act. Next song that Shadow of a Man goes into is the outro of Kill for Love, which was kind of surprising. It's like a song from the Mayhem exclusive album edition, so I did not expect Gaga to perform the song ever, but here we are. After that, she's performing Born This Way, which represents Gaga's philanthropic side. On the screen in the background, we can see Gaga's face with white and red stripes, again representing Mayhem Gaga and Virgin Gaga. The dance moves and hand gestures are from the music video and old live performances. There's nothing more to add to that, besides that she gets to the piano for the next song. So the piano that she's performing Shallow on next, which represents Gaga's passion for acting and movies, is a piano that is made out of wooden pieces, harp-like structures, and I was searching for it online and I was like, what does this mean? I have never seen this because it's not untypical for Gaga to use pianos for a specific design that is fitting to the song she's performing or to the era that she's in. So I was thinking about, well, what is this piano visually? And I figured out it's actually the insides of the piano without wooden covering. It represents maybe the vulnerability of Gaga, how she herself opens like her inner chaos. And now we get to see the inner chaos of the piano rather than the cover of it. I just thought this is a very cool concept for Gaga to show like this vulnerability in the instrument as well as in her performance. So again, we see the white-red color scheme as the eye that is projected on the floor of the stage, showing the coexistence of these dueling twins. The last song that Gaga performs in this act is Vanish Into You, and this song is about Gaga's legacy as an artist and passing her music, art, and beliefs onto her fans even when she's gone. It seems therefore fitting that Gaga is walking and greeting her fans. It totally fits to the meaning of the song itself. So last but not least, we have the finale with a performance of Bad Romance. The title is Eternal Aria of the Monster Heart. We hear this voiceover of Gaga. You can hear White Gaga arguing with Mistress Mayhem again. The hopeful perspective clashes with the unpleasant voice inside her. White Gaga starts with, "Who are you? Do you know who you are? I don't know who I am. Who am I? I am me. No, you are not. I'm strong. You are weak. I'm everything. You are nothing. What difference does it make? The world loves me. The world hates you. They see me. They don't understand you. I'm a monster. Yes, you are a monster." Then both of them say, "We are monsters, and monsters never die." This dialogue between these two characters reflects the whole show and depicts how torn Gaga feels inside. Gaga is being different, and she's having these dueling sides inside her that make her Gaga and that make her a monster. She's saying we are monsters, she's glorifying her weaknesses, she's painting herself as this monster, and she's also paying homage to her fanbase she has called Little Monsters. It's like saying monsters never die seems like it's a mindset or a lifestyle of being a monster, and it's a fandom that goes further on than just Gaga, but it's just her beliefs and everything she stands for. So I think this is quite a cool interlude and dialogue that is happening. Last but not least, we have the performance of Bad Romance. And before the song starts, Gaga is laying on an operating table. Plague doctors, they reel her on the stage, referencing European history again. We can hear sounds of surgical equipment. We can see the plague doctor dancers make movements of sawing something apart. And this is just a reflection of Mayhem and Gaga surgically stitched together, which kind of represents that now Gaga uses this chaotic part of her, this Mistress Mayhem side of her, that she still has inside her, but she is now able to control it and to use it to her advantage rather than fighting it. So it's like this coexistence that is more peaceful than it was at the beginning, showing that Gaga has kind of found a way to deal with these dueling twins. Just the surgical stitching is very Frankenstein coded. It fits into these monster theme, into this Gothic theme. I thought it's really interesting that Gaga has this red wounded cross over her heart. She also has this wound over her hip, which we have talked before that she had undergo surgery for. She also has this huge claws. She's doing the choreography with obvious reference to the monster claw, which is a sign for Gaga and Little Monsters since the beginning and even since she released Bad Romance. Yeah, and just her wearing white outfits in general are homage to the music videos and the past performances she has done of the song. I can't think of many Gaga performances of Bad Romance where she has not worn anything white. That was the final performance, and that was my deep dive and analysis of 2 hours of Gaga referencing art, music, history, fashion, and mostly herself. Yeah, I think as you might hear from me, I love this performance to death. I think this is her best performance she has ever done. This is one of the best Coachella performances, if not the best Coachella performance. This is highly critically acclaimed. She's going on tour with this set in Mexico, in Rio, in Singapore. This is such high artistry, and this artistic performance, I've never seen a mainstream pop concert or artist do this before. This is quintessential Gaga, and I love every minute of it, and I love that there are so many Easter eggs inside that little monsters like me can dive into and just lose themselves in all these theories, what everything could mean and everything be about. And this is where we are, and this is why I made this video. I had all these thoughts about this concert, and I had all these thoughts about what this could mean, and I thought maybe some references were not that obvious, maybe some were, but I just wanted to put this out into the world because this is like a once in a lifetime performance. Every second of this 2-hour show is made with so much love and with so much quality and with so much craftsmanship that not only Gaga created, but the whole team of fashion designers, of stage designers, of dancers, of everyone you need for this kind of stage and performance. And I'm just in awe with it, and I just wanted to give it that love that it deserves and to appreciate it. And yeah, that's why I made this video. So from a personal point of view, I love it. What do you think of the performance? And are there even some Easter eggs that I didn't figure out or that I didn't get? Because I would really like to know in the comments if there is anything that I didn't get. This is my first time trying this kind of format. I hope you enjoyed it. This is also the first time trying this kind of setup. I created my own pop Gaga corner because I wanted to try something new. I knew that you all loved my Pop Explained videos, and I thought maybe it is time to try something new. These kind of videos where I just have the script and talk about what I just want to talk about, and yeah, make these kind of seminars of the mother monster lore, and this one was about Gaga-Cella. Yeah, so again, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please leave it a comment as subscribe to my channel and leave it a like. And if you really want to support me and doing these kind of videos, follow me on Patreon, be a member of Friends of Freud, and support me by doing these videos. This was a lot of time. This is actually a 16-page script that I just talked through, but I just want to be very precise when I talk about these kind of analysis videos. I don't want to talk just what I think in the moment. I just researched a lot about it, and that's why it takes so long, but I think at the end, the quality of these videos is better when I put that much work in it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you maybe next time to this kind of format or something else. Bye bye, have a great day.